Sorry, Mr. Balui. That case here, State versus Van der Westhuizen. Do you have a copy there? Somebody removed mine. You remember I gave you the citation. I think it's 1972. SACI.
We'll try and print it here.
Yeah. The doctor can do it. Do you know it by head, sir?
My Lord, counsel for accused number 2, Mr. Ramosipili, called this morning to say that he's held up and that he'll be here around 10:30. As it's 17 minutes past 10 at the moment. He called the registrar to relay the message, but he said he couldn't get in touch with him. But
Okay.
he said he'll explain fully when he arrives at court.
All right. Yeah, more.
Sorry for the belated arrival, as the court pleases, my lord.
Okay. Yes, Mr.
As the court please, my lord, the state has concluded its submissions yesterday. The defense were going to confer on the submissions and decide whether or not to oppose the application. And yeah, it's now for the defense to indicate
Okay.
whether they are going to oppose the application or not, my lord.
Any opposition from the defense?
Thank you, my lord. I went through the heads of argument that were prepared by the state, as were forwarded to me yesterday. Now I realize that this is exactly what we were busy with on Friday, or what we dealt with on Friday, except for one or two additions, where the state seeks to give justification on the reason why this information was not led in examination in chief. The state is alleging that the reason why this information, insofar as it relates to number 3, was not led in examination in chief, is that the state was solely focusing on the identity of the suspect by way of his clothing and the dreadlocks. And they are saying this with specific reference to accused number 3. In other words, the state seeks to tell this court that in their evidence in chief, they were only concerned about the identity of the suspect according to the house, the gun-toting suspect, by way of his clothing and the dreadlocks. But now this is a misnomer. This is not the case, because Brigadier Kininda specifically indicated that when he made an application to the magistrate for the warrant of arrest of the accused, he specifically indicated in Exhibit 20 ZZ and this is what it says in Exhibit ZZ, that photos downloaded and taken of the accused by himself, in brackets selfies, match the description of the suspect, who had a firearm with dreadlocks, big eyes, and with a gold teeth. This is the suspect that went into the house, made a demand of a cell phone and money. He is also the same suspect that shot the deceased in the matter during the struggle with him. Now, with this information, it is therefore not accurate to say that the state only concentrated on the clothing of the suspect and the dreadlocks only, because this evidence, which was introduced by or through the affidavit of Brigadier Kininda, which was admitted on record as Exhibit ZZ, there is also specifically referred to the golden teeth, or the gold teeth that this suspect is described in the paragraph that I've already read, had. But even beyond that, when I cross-examine Brigadier Kininda, with this information that is contained in this paragraph that I've just read, I requested him to specifically refer us to Exhibit XX, to Exhibit S, where these identifying features of this in this suspect were, or in this suspects were the suspect with the dreadlocks, the big eyes, and the golden teeth. He tried the best that he can to identify the suspect with the dreadlocks. I even said to him, no, it's not in dispute that accused number 3 on the day in question, on the date of the incident, had dreadlocks. This is apparent from the selfies that he actually took himself on the day of the on the 24th, on the 26th of October 2014. But the description of the dreadlocks that is mentioned by witnesses who were in the house differ materially from that which from the dreadlocks that are visible in the selfies that he took. The big eyes, he tried to give an explanation that I still cannot even understand now. But the issue here is about the gold teeth. When Brigadier Kininda was requested by me to direct us to a photo as contained in Exhibit S, a photo that denotes that the suspect had a golden teeth, he referred to this court to photo number 15 in Exhibit S. He specifically referred to this court to number 15 and said that is accused number 3, and there's a golden teeth. And in fact, that photo number 15, I'm not an expert, but when one looks at it, is a photo that would have been taken on the 24th of November 2014. On the 23rd of November 2014. When one looks at it, to the right-hand side of the upper teeth line, I don't know what to call it now. Yes. There appears to be something that is shiny there. I will assume that's the gold, and that is exactly what Brigadier Kininda referred to when he said, yeah, no, this is accused number 3, and we can see here that on the upper, on this upper jaw, there's a golden teeth. Now one wonders whether the picture that is denoted there is one of accused, exemplifies accused number 3, or that's a picture of accused number 3. It is clear to all and sundry, and this is beyond reproach, that cannot be accused number 3. That is not accused number 3, and that will never be accused number 3. Now, the state further seeks to justify the fact that it is basically the state, and I'm killing this from the heads of argument of the state, that this information was extensively canvassed by the defense in the cross-examination of Brigadier Kininda. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. We never at any point ever suggested that accused number 3 had a golden teeth. That was not our evidence. This evidence came from the state itself. It is Brigadier Kininda who, when he made an application to the magistrate for the arrest of accused number 3, made this, indicated in his affidavit that accused number 3 had a golden teeth. And that is contained in his affidavit. Now the state seeks to justify their omission to lead to this evidence by saying that it was canvassed by the defense. As I'm saying, it was never our case. We have admitted many a time that most of the photos that are appearing on Exhibit S, indeed, some of them are selfies, some of them are photos which denote how accused number 3 looked on the 26th of October 2014. But at no point, and at no point, did we ever made an assumption that accused number 3 at some stage had a golden teeth. And in fact, I remember when Brigadier Kininda was testifying, if my memory serves me well, there was an issue with regard to the doctor who took, where accused number 2 was taken for a dental investigation on whether or not he had a golden teeth. I remember the doctor came and told this court, or there was information that was placed before court here that the doctors are able to see whether or if a person had some gold dentures or something like that, or some golden teeth, irrespective of the period that they had been having that golden teeth. And I specifically remember the court saying, no, it can't be. A person who had a golden teeth in 2014, it is impossible for them to, it is impossible for doctors to come and state with certainty that after 6 or 7 years, or even 14 or 8 years, to come and say that such a person had a golden teeth. But the doctors, insofar as Ntanzi was concerned, that doctor who came here, that medical doctor, he was able to tell that Ntanzi never had a golden teeth in 2014 when his examination was done in 2020. That is one of the requests that we actually put forward, that if the state insists that accused number 3 had a golden teeth, because this is their evidence, we are going to request that accused number 3 should go through the same process as well for determination by a medical expert whether or not accused number 3 had a golden teeth at the time of the commission of this evidence. But importantly, again, my lord, is the fact that at the time of the presentation of this evidence, the state already had this information. The state alleges that they gave us this information just before the commencement of the trial, which was contained in those 700 photos. We don't dispute that. It is indeed so. But the question, therefore, is, and I cannot doubt that the state did a sterling job, did a proper investigation. Each and every piece of evidence that they wanted to present to the court, they went through it, analyzed it meticulously. And I'm not only speaking about a state that was seated as an individual person. I'm talking about a state that was a case that was prepared by 3 extremely experienced prosecutors, advocates, extremely competent people. I may also add that I have no doubt in my mind that the head of the department of the Director of Public Prosecutions here at Pretoria, Advocate Mzinyati, would now and then come and check whether or not the investigation or the evidence that the state was trying to gather in order to come and present here was all in place. Now, it strikes one very, very strange that at the time of the presentation of such a crucial evidence, the state would have missed these particular photos that they seek to present now. And the state specifically says, no, we're able to identify these photos at the time at which Advocate Mnisi was afforded the opportunity to go and prepare, whilst reading for those 40,000 pages, to come and assist accused number 1 in the cross-examination of Brigadier Kininda. I know, my lord, there is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in the state to continue to investigate the case whilst the trial is proceeding. But this is totally different because the state already had that information. If this information was material and if this information was relevant, when I say information, I'm referring to the pictures of accused number 3 that the state is seeking to introduce now as new evidence. If this was so material and so relevant, it would definitely not have skipped the state's mind. This is just a pure indication that this information is totally irrelevant, because had it been relevant, it would have been led by then. Introduction of a new evidence in the course of a trial, or when the trial is proceeding, has got a propensity to prejudice the case of the accused person, because accused person then has got to take some 100 steps backwards to try and fathom what is it that could have been said against him, what is it that had all of a sudden prompted the state to come with this information. Could this be in line with his defense and all those factors, my lord? But the primary consideration here is that there is no valid reason why this information was not accused by the state in the examination in chief of Brigadier Kininda, based on the background that I've already sketched out. Reference might be had to all the cases that deal about the fairness of justice, what is contained in state versus Hepworth and everything. But the state needs to come up with compelling reasons, not just reasons of a cursory nature, but compelling reasons why they did not provide this, or they did not bring forth this evidence through Brigadier Kininda when he testified in his evidence in chief, my lord. I would therefore request that in the interest of justice, that this evidence should not be admitted, my lord. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Madam Sepedi.
If it may please the court, my lord, I have overnight prepared short heads of argument in response to an application by the state to lead the following evidence in respect of Mr. Sibia, 2 additional photos, in respect of Mr. Ntanzi, 16 additional photos, and in respect of Mr. Ngube, additional 3 photos, my lord. And in our heads of argument, my lord, at introduction, we're saying that the state has made a substantive application in their quest to have Warrant Officer Ndlovu, who is responsible for the downloading and analysis of the photos that were contained in the memory card belonging to a phone that is attributed to Mr. Ntanzi. And Warrant Officer Mabasa, who dealt with the analysis and download of the photos belonging to to Mr. Mngube. In respect of Mr. Sibiya, we are not told who the downloader of those photographs are and the source of those photographs, my lord. And my lord, in the heads of argument of the state, at paragraph 1.4 thereof, it is stated that the state would like to re-examine Brigadier Gininda on these additional photos of accused number 2 and 3. And at paragraph 1.5 of the heads of argument, it is submitted that, and I quote, "The sole purpose for such a re-examination is to put a full and fair picture before the court to enable the court to adjudicate on the issues that are in dispute, namely the identity of the perpetrators who invaded the Khumalo's home on the 26 October 2014 and killed the deceased. It is therefore submitted that the evidence is relevant." That is the heads of argument of the state, my lord. Now, our submissions in respect of, in particular, Mr. Ntanzi, is that my instructions are to object to the recalling of Warrant Officer Ndlovu and denying the state to adduce these additional photos, especially in the context for which the state seeks to introduce them, that i.e. to re-examine Colonel Gininda on the description and the identification. And particularly, my lord, let me go to this. At paragraph 2.2, in fact, before 2.2, my lord, there's a passage that is very, very germane. Yes, at page 5 of the heads of argument, the state went to length to quote a passage where I had an interaction with Brigadier Gininda. And in particular, I remember vividly what the interaction was all about, my lord. I was putting to Brigadier Gininda in respect of what the witnesses in the house, some of the witnesses in the house described the second intruder. And my submission to him was that all of the witnesses in the house, where they spoke to Warrant Officer Steenkamp of the facial identity kit section, the facial identification unit of the SAPS, they never described how the second suspect that entered the Khumalo household looked like. Now, if the exercise of the photos, according to the state, is to then canvass this issue, my lord, we are going to make the following submissions. At paragraph 2.1 of our heads of argument, to say the 16 or so photographs that the state seeks to introduce are not new evidence. These photos, at the time Warrant Officer Ndlovu testified initially in this case, we were told that download analysis were done on the SIM cards and the SD card belonging to accused or Mr. Ntanzi in respect of those devices being found in his Samsung cell phone. Now, we are saying, my lord, at 2.1, that the state had ample time at the time to lead Warrant Officer Ndlovu on the totality of all the photos that were germane in their examination of Warrant Officer Ndlovu at the time, not as an afterthought. If the state, my lord, we submit, were using a stratagem that we are leading this, we are leaving this out as a strategy, not as an omission, not as an oversight, not inadvertently, then we are saying, my Lord, they must lie on the bed that they made. They adopted a particular strategy. Now they come later and quote Hepworth. Hepworth does not assist the state, my Lord. Hepworth says an omission by another party should not be taken advantage of by another party, my Lord, in proceedings. And Hepworth also deals with the duties of the presiding officer, who we are told is not an umpire. He directs proceedings to make sure that justice is not only done, but justice is seen to be done. So we are stating, my Lord, still at paragraph 2.1 of our heads of argument, that nowhere does the state state that there was an oversight on their part, there was an omission on their part, and as Advocate Munisi correctly stated in his submission, at paragraph 2.3 of the state's own heads of argument, and I quote, the reason why the evidence was not presented only during the long adjournment that was afforded to Advocate Munisi to prepare his cross-examination, that 5,487 photos of the downloads. These downloads were given to the defense a while already. The state has extracted 3 additional photos from the downloads, including a single photo of accused number 1 that we want to show the court. Accused number 2 and 3 do not dispute that the cell phones and the SD card from which the downloads were made belong to them. The photos belong to them, including the single photo of accused number 1, and therefore fall within their knowledge. We therefore submit that they will not be prejudiced. I'll come again to this point, my Lord, when I argue a different aspect, but I want to go to my second point on my heads of argument, my Lord, to say that, my Lord, in our view, this is cumulative evidence, which is unnecessary and prejudicial to Mr. Ntanzi. We further argue, my Lord, that the state seeks to have a second bite at the cherry when they had ample time to do so during the initial testimony of Mr. Ndlovu. And this is meant just to put, as the state puts at paragraph 2.2 of their heads of argument, to say these additional photos are to show further appearances of accused number 2. It's got nothing to do with the re-examination of Brigadier Gininda on the aspects we engaged on regarding the identity kit compiled by Warrant Officer Steenkamp. And, my Lord, we quote the case of Adv versus Green, 1962, 3SA 886T at 889, where the Judge of Appeal, Ogilvie Thompson, stated that an application of this nature, that is, recording of witnesses, may also be refused, and to quote, to exclude irrelevancies and discourage repetition, and I close. And my submission, my Lord, is that the photos that we've been supplied with of Mr. Ntanzi, it's a repetition of how he looks like. And the burning question is how he looks like in 2014. We don't know how he looks like in 2014. We don't know the date of those pictures pertaining to the date of the incident that this court is concerned with, my Lord. And we further quote, my Lord, the case of R versus Ghani, a 1958 case, 1 SA 102 AD, where the court held that, and I quote, a trial court must be accorded all powers to control the length, to which the parties must go into investigating matter of a subordinate nature on the fringe of the case. It is important that a trial should not be unduly prolonged exposure by an over-elaborate examination of minute details which cannot materially affect the central issue. The central issue, my lord, here is identification, and identification by who? Not by Brigadier Gininda, but by the witnesses that were inside the house at the time the offense was committed. And that description and identified as given by the very same witnesses 3 days later or 2 days later on the 28th of October 2014 after the commission of the offense to a person, an expert in the SAPS who deals with identification, facial identification, being Warrant Officer Steenkamp. Now, at 2.3 that I've referred to as an anecdote, the state states, we therefore submit that there will be no prejudice to the accused persons by submitting this evidence. And it ends there. My lord, prejudice is one of the factors that the state should have gone into some length, because this matter, my lord, has dragged on. And the prejudice to the accused persons, all parties involved, the families of the deceased, they need to see this case coming to an end. And recalling this witness simply to give additional photos that add no value to the issue germane to the identification of accused or Mr. Ntanzi in particular, serve no purpose, my lord, and prejudices the accused persons, all of them, the 5 gentlemen before this court, extensively, my lord. Furthermore, my lord, at paragraph 2.4 of our heads, the state sought to base their heads of argument on section 167 of the Criminal Procedure Act. I respectfully submit, my lord, that reliance on section 167 of the Criminal Procedure Act is misplaced. Section 167 is the purview of the presiding officer, not the state, not the defense. The defense and the state can apply for recalling of witnesses that have testified that are present in court, but using a different mechanism, not 167, my lord. And I'm not going to read 167 for the court. All of us who are here are well aware of the provisions of section 167, my lord. At paragraph 2.5, my lord, we submit respectfully that the issues relating to the identification and the description, especially because of what the state says I put to Colonel Gininda regarding what the witnesses said to Warrant Officer Steenkamp, I submit the following, my lord, that these are issues that are matters of credibility that the court is seized with at the end of the case to determine on the credibility as to the description of the witnesses in the house, the description as proffered in their evidence in chief in cross-examination here in court. Re-examining Brigadier Gininda on those issues is not going to change what those witnesses told Warrant Officer Steenkamp. The other issue, my lord, that we addressed in our heads of argument is the reasons why that evidence was not led in chief. And I submit humbly, my lord, that I've already traversed this, and Advocate Muniz as well has traversed this. There's case law anecdotal at the end of the state's heads of argument which deal with the interest of justice, and we cannot fold those cases. Multi-choice, all of those cases, my lord, we are well aware of those. But the interests of justice, my lord, are a two-way street. So we implore this court to prioritize fairness, efficiency, and the interest of justice, my lord, in deciding the very fact that we are debating here in court today, my lord. And lastly, my lord, at the end of our heads of argument, we reiterate the same position, that is the right to re-examine by either the state or the defense or by the court, my lord, for that matter. And that are the provisions of Section 1 of the CPA, my lord. I'm not going to regurgitate those, my lord. We during our debates previously, my lord, we had traversed those issues. As the court pleases, my lord, that will be my submission, that the court denied the application to recall these witnesses, my lord, and to lead further evidence of Mr. Ndlovu in particular regarding Mr. Ntanzi. As the court pleases, my lord.
Thanks. Yes, Mr.
Thank you, my lord. I will have no submissions.
Mamalo?
I will have no submissions. Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, I have only 2 submissions to make, my lord. On the objections raised by the defense in the inclusion, my lord, of the new evidence. My lord, as my learned friends have submitted the reasons that needs to be considered on this application, and one of the reasons, my lord, is the delay, reason for the delay in leading or in introducing the evidence that a party intends to introduce at this stage. The reason, my lord, which I found on the heads of the argument submitted by the state in respect of accused number 2 is that the state only had an opportunity to go through its own evidence, which is 5,467 photos. And it's only then they realized that the state wanted to introduce this evidence. When I read through the heads of the arguments of the state, my lord. My lord, my submission is that so it means the state, at the time when the state was supposed to furnish the defense, in particular accused number 2, with further, full, and better particulars in order to enable accused number 2 to prepare his defense, the state did not comply with those provisions, because the state is saying, my lord, on its own heads of arguments, they only had the opportunity to go through the evidence during the adjournment when Advocate Mnisi was preparing for his cross-examination. That on its own, my lord, it shows that the state was reckless in reading and analyzing and preparing the evidence that the state wanted to introduce, that the state wanted to use against accused number 2. It clearly shows that the state from the outset never intended to use the information or the evidence that they now intend to introduce, because it was lying in their hands, but they elected not to introduce such evidence, my lord. And therefore, that on its own has violated the rights of the accused to a fair trial, in that he had not been afforded with an opportunity to prepare his defense case from the outset of the trial. Therefore, the inclusion of this evidence, my lord, will affect the right to a fair trial of accused number 2 on the basis of the reason that has been submitted by the state. Then on the part of accused number 3, my lord, also on the reasons for the delay, the state on its own heads of argument, my lord, indicated that it is the investigating officer who picked and chose the photos that were supposed to be included in Exhibit S, which was presented before this court. Therefore, it means, my lord, at the time when the state was preparing the evidence, the state was in receipt of this evidence, and therefore it was the issue of the investigating officer to pick and choose which evidence to be presented and which evidence not to be presented against accused number 3 in respect of the pictures that the state had at the time when they were preparing Exhibit S, my lord. Also, it means, my lord, that the state was negligent on their part. Also, my lord, it goes further to say also the state has failed to give accused number 3 the evidence, or to furnish, not to give, my lord, to furnish accused number 3 with further, full and better particulars in order to enable accused number 3 to prepare his defense case, my lord. Now, the introduction of this new evidence at this stage, my lord, will be prejudicial to both accused because the reason submitted by the state for failure to include such information at the beginning, it shows that they were reckless. The state was reckless, my lord, or did not pay particular attention to the evidence that they intended to use. My lord, I may submit that the inclusion of such evidence will be prejudicial to the accused, my lord. Those are my submissions only.
Thank you. Any response, sir?
As a court, please, my lord. Well, firstly, as far as the arguments of Advocate Nisi and Mr. Ramasipele is concerned, there appears to be a serious misconception as to the reason why the state seeks to lead to the evidence. And we are saying this, my lord, with the greatest of respect. If one looks at the argument of Advocate Nisi, he mentions, for instance, that there's no valid reason as to why the evidence wasn't led through Brigadier Gininda. He also mentioned that there's no explanation as to how we missed the evidence. And if one looks at the argument of Mr. Ramasipele that the photos are not new evidence, that we perhaps are reviewing our strategy, that our strategy was to lead certain evidence, that there's no averment that there was an oversight or omission on the part of the state, that the state wants to have a second bite at the cherry, and that the evidence is repetitive or irrelevant. If one looks at those submissions, my lord, we submit that there's this fundamental misconception of the reason why the state seeks to lead the evidence at this point, my lord. And we've played open cards. We've come before the court and said this evidence, when we led Brigadier Gininda, that the photos had not as yet been identified. We mentioned, my lord, in our heads of argument on Friday, that it was during the long adjournment, and this we set out in our heads of argument that we presented on Friday, that it was, and this paragraph 2.3, that the reason why the evidence was not presented during evidence in chief is that it was only during the long adjournment that was afforded to Advocate Mnisi to prepare his cross-examination that we were able to trawl through the 5,467 files. And we've come to the court, we've played open cards and said these photos were discovered, and I use discovered in the sense that we were able to identify those photos after the evidence of Brigadier Gininda in chief was led. So in other words, this evidence was not available at the time when, and I'm using the word available in the sense that the photos had not as yet been identified at the time when Brigadier Gininda gave his evidence in chief. Well, Advocate Mshololo then submitted that this is new evidence and mentioned that the state was reckless and that we did not furnish the requested further particulars. And as far as accused number 3 is concerned, she submitted that the state failed to give accused 3 or to furnish him with better particulars. The fact of the matter, my lord, is that the photos, as we've indicated, were contained in the disc that was given to all the defense counsel some time ago, and in our submission, my lord, this was sometimes in 2023. We don't want to commit to the year in case we are accused of not putting correct facts before the court. But this is a long while ago, my lord, that the evidence was furnished to the to the defense. I can put it as high as saying that even before the resumption of the trial, that this evidence was furnished to the to the defense. So they can, my lord, we submit with the greatest respect that they it cannot be argued that we failed to furnish further particulars when we furnish this information in a disc before the trial commenced. And my lord, as the trial unfolded, certain propositions were put to the witnesses, and in this regard, we just want to refer to a proposition that was put to Mr. Tumela Madlala. This was on the 8th of August 2023 on page 13, line 14 by Mr. Ramosepeli. He put the following proposition: now accused number 2 instructs me that he has never had this beard here. In fact, it does not grow on him, and he has never had an O-shaped beard like you say the second suspect had. And furthermore, that he has always kept the goatee, the one that you see here in court, from as long as he can remember. And my lord, these are some of the aspects that only came during the cross-examination of the witnesses. And my lord, the photos that the state seeks to hand up address these issues that only came to light during the cross-examination of the witnesses. The reason, my lord, why we quoted the passages that appear in our heads was simply to show relevance as to why we want to present the evidence. We therefore submit, my lord, that the state should be given the opportunity to lead this evidence. We have advanced the reasons. We've played open cards with the court, and we are of the view, my lord, that there can be no question of prejudice, my lord, because these are simple photos of the accused. How can a person be prejudiced by the way that he looks? Mr. Ramusepili mentioned the fact that the photos are irrelevant in the sense that there's no date as to when these photos were taken. But one thing is certain, my lord, is that these photos were taken before the arrest of the accused, and therefore, my lord, this will be relevant as far as the period within which the offense was committed is concerned, my lord. We therefore reiterate that the state should be allowed to lead evidence on these photos, my lord. Thank you.
What's the time there?
It's 11:15, my lord.
Okay, can you come back at the half-past? Produce, because it was not aware of the availability of that information, and this information relates to photographs, which photographs are allegedly those photographs of some of the accused before this court. The state has proffered reasons why it did not introduce this evidence earlier. And the most cogent reason is that there are photographs, thousands of photographs. We're not talking about 2 photographs, 6 photographs, thousands of photographs which were downloaded according to the state in this matter. Apparently they are about, it's how much? 7,000.
For number 2, it's
Not
5,467 files.
And then the others,
For accused number 3, it's over 700.
right? And then the others.
Those are the only.
So in jointly, it's how many photographs?
It's in excess of 6,000.
Right. As any person with fairness can see, these are thousands and thousands of photographs. And the explanation given by the state is conceivably correct on the basis that it was only during the recess period when the court had recessed, because there had to be preparation by accused number 1's counsel to prepare. Then that preparation took about, for a cross-examination, took about 4 months, 3 weeks. And it is during that time of preparation when the state alleges that it was trawling through these thousands of photographs that it came across evidence of the remainder of the photographs, which in perusal thereof the state thought it advisable to use that evidence. And the gravamen of the matter is that all the accused counsel had this evidence. All of them. They are not taken by surprise. All of them, they had this evidence. This court remembers it had to adjourn for about 2 weeks when all the counsel said they wanted to peruse the photographs. So the state is arguing that this evidence is relevant. And the defense is arguing the contrary, that this evidence is not relevant. It is new evidence. And the premise of the law is as follows. Irrelevant evidence is inadmissible. No evidence as to any fact, matter, or thing shall be admissible which is irrelevant or immaterial and which cannot conduce to prove or disprove any point of fact at issue in criminal proceedings. And I'm reading this from the Toit, if you want to read it, page 2422b. The meaning of relevance. The relevance of an item of evidence refers to its logical tendency to show or indicate the material fact for which the evidence is offered. See in this regard the case of R versus Katz, 1946 AD 71 to 77, where Watermeyer, who was then the Chief Justice, approved the following definition by Stephen Digest of the Law of Evidence, 11th edition, 1930, Article 1. I repeat, the word relevant meant that any two facts to which it is applied are so related to each other that according to the common sense of events, either taken by itself or in connection with other facts, proves or renders probable the past, present, or future existence or non-existence of the other. Here we're talking about photographs. So we're not talking about hypothetical evidence. We're talking about material photographs. And as I listen to the argument of the defense of the accused is not affected in essence. In other words, the defense of the accused remains the same. They know nothing about the so-called alleged murder of the deceased. They were not there at any time. They know nothing about that. So the defense remains constant and consistent. So the prejudice, if any, is it has been tendered at a later stage, but the state has proffered compelling and compellable evidence that this evidence, although it can be categorized as new, it has relevance to this case, and it is related to all the evidence that has been led in this case, that of photographs. And we talked about the photographs being about 5,000 or 7,000. And there is no ambush, because according to Mr. Baloyi, on behalf of the state, 3 weeks or so, the same photographs which were discovered by Mr. Malone was tendered to all the defense counsels, and they were advised that the state intends leading that evidence. It's not as if this evidence is now taken out of a hat like a rabbit of a magician. According to Baloyi, it was tendered, there were discussions, there were postponement of the discussions, and when I listened to the two parties, they met, but somebody was saying, no, you're lying, the other one saying, no, it's not true, etc., etc. But the fact of the matter is, no person was ambushed. Okay. case of R versus Mpanza, 1915 AD, 343 to 352 to 3, and R versus Torpedo, 1920 AD, 56 to 62, the learned judge just said, I paraphrase, clearly then, questions relating to relevance may not be resolved by resorting to juridical formulae, but rather to reason, common sense, and for Schreiner, the former judge of appeal, who was supposed to have been our Chief Justice, but because of politics, he was never appointed, like a friend of mine, whose name I shall not mention. Clearly, the question relating to relevance may not be resolved by resorting to juridical formulae, but rather to reason and common sense, and as observed by Schreiner. It is based upon a blend of logic, experience, lying outside the law. Okay, now the prosecutor has a duty to bring all the evidence which they believe affects the adjudication of the case. Some 2, 3, 5 months back, I had reason in this court to tell you about a case. I just forget the citation, but I'll give you the facts. Where the SCA, 5 judges of the SCA were adjudicating a matter on argument at the SCA, and at the last minute, the state applied for a postponement in order to apply to reopen the state case because they had found certain relevant evidence. Even at that late stage, the SCA, 5 judges, said, we will grant the postponement, we will grant the reopening of the state case. The only question was whether, should we do it, because that case was in the regional court, should we do it in the regional court or should we do it in a high court? But the principle has been established in our law that if the state has cogent, reasonable, admissible evidence, and it has occasion to require it in the proving of a case, it is entitled, in terms of the law, not rata, in terms of the law, to do so. And I take comfort in the duties which the state the prosecution rather, this national legislation in the National Prosecuting Authority, 2 sections of that act are relevant for the present purposes, namely Section 32 and Section 26(6). 1A, a member of the prosecuting authority shall serve impartially and exercise, carry out, or perform his or her powers, duties, and functions in good faith and without fear, favor, or prejudice, and subject only to the Constitution and the law. And there is further the authority of the Code of Conduct for members of the National Prosecuting Authority in terms of the Government Notice R 1257, in Government Notice 33907 of 29 December 2010, where the following is said: independence, the prosecutorial discretion to institute and to stop criminal proceedings should be exercised independently in accordance with the prosecution policy and the policy directives, and be free from political, public, and judicial interference. Prosecutors should perform their duties without fear, favor, or prejudice, and in particular, they should carry out their functions impartially and not become personally as opposed to professionally involved in any matter. And 2B, they must avoid taking decisions or involving themselves in matters where a conflict of interest exists or might possibly exist. And they also must take into consideration the public interest as distinct from the media or partisan interests and concerns, however vociferous this may be presented. And further, prosecutors, in terms of the International Association of Prosecutorial Standards, which contain the following relevant provisions. Impartiality. Prosecutors shall perform their duties without fear, favor, or prejudice. In particular, they shall carry out their functions impartially, remain unaffected by individual or sectional interests in public and media pressures, and shall have regard only to the public interest and act with objectivity. And the role of prosecutors in criminal proceedings, they shall perform, I repeat, their duties fairly, consistently, and expeditiously. And in the institution of criminal proceedings, they will proceed only when a case is well-founded upon evidence reasonably believed to be reliable and admissible, and will not continue with prosecution in the absence of such evidence. Throughout the course of the proceedings, the case will be firmly but fairly prosecuted and not beyond what is indicated by the evidence. We further refer to the judgment in the Supreme Court of Canada by Boucher in the case of the Queen versus Boucher versus the Queen, 1955, SCR 16. It's a constitutional court case in Canada. The learned judge has this to say, Judge Rand: it cannot be overemphasized that the purpose of a criminal prosecution is not to obtain a conviction. It is to lay before a jury what the Crown considers to be credible evidence relevant for what is alleged to be a crime. Counsel have a duty to see that all available legal proof of the facts is presented. That's a duty on the state. It should be done firmly, fairly, and to its legitimate strength, but it must also be done fairly, and the role of the prosecutor excludes any notion of winning or losing. His function is a matter of public duty with which in civil life or this can be done, and none can be charged with greater personal responsibility. It is to be efficiently performed with an ingrained sense and dignity, the seriousness and the justness of the judicial prosecution. Now, this court is persuaded because the state is saying this evidence is relevant and it is connected to the case, and it doesn't materially change, according to the defense proffered by the accused. They pleaded not guilty, and they proffered, during the cross-examination of some of the witnesses, they proffered defenses which range from, we were not there, we know nothing about that, the state's evidence is not correct, etc., etc. Consequently, in the interest of justice, the court admits that the state is entitled to lead those two witnesses if it so desires, and the application is acceded to.
Please,
Yeah.
My
kade khona kodaba wakhe bafowethu mayana nesicelo lesike abameli kade bephendula kusona isicelo siqhamukile ke siqhamukiswa ithimba noma yebo ithimba labashushisi ke lapho ke bayana nodaba lokuthi babuzeke imibuzo noma balethe ufakazi obusha ke maphicelezi nezithombe lezi ke kade bekhulumile ngazo izithombe zikaMshololo oqaze osibili futhi nosithathu ke lapho ke kade babala khona ukuthi izithombe eziyishumi nesithupha futhi ezinike uma ngabe ziphelele ke futhi ke kade kwithombe eziyi-19 ke kepha kummelweni ke namuhla advocate Mnisika akunqaba thizeni ke lapho ke ithimba labashushisi likhulumeke ngodaba lokho leyithombe ngoba ke basho khona ukuthi bonake ubrigadier Kinda kumele akumele ukuthi ube ufakazi ke lo yena ke olethe ufakazi lobo phecelezi malana nodaba leyithombe ke lezo ke la kade bekhuluma khona kepha bathi ke kumele ukuthi kube abantu ke laba kade bekhona ke ngaphakathi kwelekole lakhaya noma ngaphakathi komuzi ke bekhona ngelanga leli sigameko kumele kube yibona ke abatshela imali nendlela noma manje nesikhangiso ke salomuntu othizeni noma ke abantu kade bangena ke kulela khaya ke leliyana ke futhi ke basho khona ukuthi kade khona ke uchwepheshe lapho kade asebenza malana nodaba leyithombe phecelezi kade akhona ngaphambi kungesankantolo ufakazi bakhe ke lapho ke futhi umuntu othubuleke ithombe lezo basho njalo ukuthi ade ku warrant officer eNdlovu ke lapho ke futhi ade asebenza phecelezi no sergeant Mabasa ke lapho ke futhi ade kuyibo abantu kade bethula ufakazi beyithombe lezi ke lapho ke futhi nommeli wesibili ke wanqaba ekuthizeni ke malana nodaba leyithombe lezi ekuthizeni bazijobelele ukuthi kungani bengalethile ufakazi malana nezithombe lezi ke ngesikhathi lesi kade ihlaka ithimba noma ihlangothi labashushisi ke lapho ke kade lehola ke imibuzo makade behamba phambili bebuza ke imibuzo kufakazi ukuthi kungani kumele ukuthi bamele isikhathi lesi ke lapho ke sokuthi babuze manje malana nodaba leyithombe ke lapho ke babuya futhi basho khona bathi abazi ukuthi ithombe liqhamuka kuphi ucingo lwakabani noma futhi ilanga lakhona batholakala kuphi futhi bathi asiyazi indlela kade nitshangala ngayo ke ngomnyaka 2014 futhi ngelanga lesigameko ke futhi kungani ngaphakathi kwezithombe zonkana lezi kade zikhona ke ngaphansi kumibukiso ka sekukuthi lethombe lezi kade bengakhulumile ngazo ke lapho ke kepha kungani kade bebeke eceleni bengakhulumile ngazo ngesikhathi lesi kade behola ufakazi babo noma kade behola ithimba lofakazi babo ke lapho ke babuya futhi bakhuluma malanga phecelezi nodaba lokuthi kade khona umuntu othizini lapho ke siuchwepheshe osebenza ngokwenza uqhathanisa phakathi kwendlela umuntu abukeka ngayo ke lapho ke futhi akhuluma nokuthi ithombe lezi ke bathi ithombe iqhamuka ngaphakathi kuma cellphones wenu noma kumakhala kukhuni benu ke lapho ke futhi babuya futhi basho khona njalo ezinye ithombe zakhona ke ziqhamuka ngaphakathi kwama SD card ke lapho ke bathi futhi kade benqaba ke ithimba lenu labashushi ithimba labameli ke lapho ke ekuthizeni bakhulume phecelezi noma kulethe ufakazi ke obusha ke phecelezi nodaba lolu kwele ithombe ke lapho ke manje isinqumo senkosi enkantolo ke naso siyasho sihambisa sithi sona ke sihambisana ke nethimba labashushisi ekuthizeni ke udaba lolu ke lokuthi baphinde bavusele icala futhi ngokuthi babuze ke imibuzo ke noma bahole lobufakazi obusha ke ukuthi ithi inkosi enkantolo kwamele ukuthi lokhu kwenzeke ke ngoba babona ukuthi lapho ke kubulungiswa futhi bungaphansi bobulungiswa bezomthetho ke ekuthizeni ngabe ithimba labashushisi lifisa ukuthi zijobelele ke udaba lwalo ke lapho ke nokufamelana nofakazi obusha ke kwamele lokho kwenziwe ke futhi ngoba kungaphansi kwezemthetho futhi wakhuluma khona njalo lapha kade enza ke sibonelo khona ke mala nethimba lenkosi zenkantolo ade sihlezi kwicala ke lapho ke lathi khona kade khona ke inkulumo efana ngamashina lena esithola ke njengamanje ekuthizeni lapho kade ihlangu ithimba noma ihlangothi ke labashushisi kade lifisa ukuthi ke lapho liphinde libuyisele icala lalo ke futhi bana nofakazi ade likhethekile ke lapho ke futhi yasho ukuthi nakule icala iyahambisana nenkulumo elethiwe lapho ke ithimba labashushisi ukuthi balethe ufakazi obusha ke phecelezi malana nodaba lwezithombe.
Yes.
As a court, please, my lord, the state will be calling Warrant Officer LT Ndlovu. He was delayed this morning, my lord. He's traveling from Middleburg and he's just returned from leave. He's just relayed the message that he's about 30 minutes away. If we cannot take the long adjournment at this point and resume it at 2.
At 2. Okay, fine.
After extraction, the cell phone was received in a new evidence bag number PA 6500005482. Then paragraph 8.
Inkulumo ebhaliwe la ngaphansi paragraph 7 ke lapho ke ngathi khona kama electric device ade watholile la landelayo ke athi ngelanga kade ngolosithathu ke emalangeni esonto ke lapho ke ngelanga lange-20 zaka-October ngomnyaka ka-2021 nawathola ke ucingo le-Samsung J7 ke lapho ke i-J5 lapho ke futhi ngesikhathi kade ethola ukuthi benale nombolo ekhethekile zocingo ke lapho ke ngisho EI number wathi 3532900850098895 beyathi kade athi ine sim card kusona ke ngaphakathi saka MTN ke lapho ke futhi kade ne ICCID number ka 8927 0000 0592 893185 bese yabuya ngaphakathi yabanenye futhi inombolo ekhethekile ze-IMSI number u655 10 35 27 49 24 69 bese ke athi ngaphakathi kade khona ku sim card ka Vodacom yesibili ke lapho ke futhi kade ihamba kade inale nombolo lezi ke lapho ke ICCID number athi kade ku 89 444 6000000 22 95218 bese yabuya futhi ngaphakathi enezinye inombolo elandelayo futhi ke lapho ke ngaphansi kwe IMSI number futhi u65 50 14 44 6229 952 bese yabuya futhi ngaphakathi kade khona ke SD card shiki memory card ade khona ke lapho ke athi ade khona ke ilukuza nama sim card amabili ke ngaphakathi kucingo lolu ke futhi ne memory card ade khona ke ngalapho ke abayithola futhi khona ukuthi wakhiphe ke ngaphakathi kwayo ke suthi XRY forensic tool ade besebenzisi lapho ke kepha thi ngembangela ukuthi icingo le kade le pattern azange bakhonti walivuleka ucingo noma makhala kukhwini ke loyo ke athi ngemuva kwalokho kwathola lokho kulandelayo ke lapho ke bathi cellphone khona bese bayithatha faka ngaphakathi kwesikhwama sobufakazi ke lapho ke suthi new evidence back ke lapho ke ehamba inale nombolo elandelayo ke lapho ke uPA 650005
Thank you. Warrant Officer Ndlovu.
My apologies, my lord. The witness still has to read in paragraph 8.
Thank you.
Paragraph 8. The result were penned on a CD and sealed in a forensic bag number PA 6500005483 and kept into the safe waiting to be collected by investigating officer.
Athi lapho ke ngaphansi kwa paragraph 8 ade kubhale ukuthi wona ke iziphumo zalapho ke kade bethathile sefaka ngaphakathi kwe CD ngemuva kwalokho sefaka ngaphakathi kwe forensic bag isikhwama leso sofakazi ke esanale nombolo elandelayo ke lapho ke PA 650005 bese ngemuva kwalokho bathi bayithatha befaka ngaphakathi kwe safe ke lapho bamele ukuthi umseshi wecala aze ayithatha ke lapho.
Okay, thank you, Warrant Officer Ndlovu. Now, let's start. Can you explain to the court what is an SD card?
Bacela utshele inkosi enkantolo ke fakazi ukuthi ngabe yini SD card.
I-SD card i-card nyana elincane lela balibiza memory card olifaka ngaphakathi kwefoni elistore i-data.
The SD card, it is a small card which people they normally refer it to as a memory card. You place it inside a cell phone to keep, not to store, a data.
Thank you. And then you also made mention of a security pattern. Can you elaborate more? What is that?
Futhi tukhulumile ke ngodaba lo security pattern ungatshela inkosi enkantolo ngogcela ukuthi ngabe usho ini uqonde usho ini ke ngodaba lolo mhlawumbe ngenkulumo lelo.
Uma ngikhuluma nge-pattern umnikazi wefoni uyisetha as i-security.
When I'm talking about the pattern, it simply means the owner of the cell phone, he in which she usually set it as a security.
And then wenzela ukuthi uma ngabe ifoni ingekho kuwe angeke ukhona ukwenza ukufona or ukwenza ini ngefoni ngoba isuke ivalekile.
Therefore, this means that if the owner of the said cell phone is not around, therefore a second person cannot be able to make an outgoing call, not to receive a phone call, simply because of the cell phone would be locked.
Yingakho nami nginakwazanga ukwenza i-cellphone ngoba nganganayo le pattern. Yingakho ifoni singakhona ukuyi-download.
Therefore, that is the reason as to why I did not be, no, therefore, that is the reason as to why I was not able to download the cell phone. No evidence from the cell phone because the owner of the cell phone was not present.
So now, in simple terms, this pattern is pattern that you have to input into the device.
Athi-ke manje amagama usho ukuthi-ke i-pattern le kumele ukuthi ibe yi-pattern umuntu ayifake ngaphakathi ku-cell phone.
Yebo, i-pattern yenziwa ngumnikazi wefone to protect i-data yakhe.
Yes, the pattern, it is made, no, it is being stored, no, made by the owner of the cell phone so that it can protect the data from the cell phone.
Does this pattern, correct me if I'm wrong, does it work like a signature wherein only the person that signs can repeat the exact same pattern?
Athi-ke manje uma yenza isibonelo ngathi usho ukuthi i-pattern le isebenza njenge-signature-ke ukuthi umuntu uma ngabe engasayinile lapho-ke ngeke ikhona ukusebenza noma isebenza njani.
Ngingavuma ukuthi isebenza kanjalo ngoba umuntu oyenzile umuntu ongakhona ukuvula le pattern.
I can agree with you in terms of that because of the only person who can be able to unlock the cell phone, it is the person who has made the pattern on the cell phone.
Or ngaphandle kwalo uma ngabe umuntu obamba masinya umnikazi uma ngabe ekhomba ipattern yakhe ukuthi ihamba kanje yila ungakhona ukuyivula khona ungomunye umuntu.
Not unless if the owner of the cell phone gets to teach you, not to show you as to how the pattern is being unlocked. Therefore, you can be able to unlock it.
Thank you, Warren Ndlovu. You also made mention of the fact that when the phone is locked, there are things that you cannot do on the phone. Can you just mention those activities? Let me just say activities that you cannot do on the phone.
But ukhulume mayelana nezinto umuntu angeke akhone ukuthi azenze uma ngaba ifone beyilokhile. Manje kodwa usitshele mayelana ukuthi yini umuntu angeke akhone ukuyenza uma ngabe ifone beyilokhile.
Okay. Okokuqala ifone mangabe ilokhile angeke ukwazi ukwenza i-call eyangaphandle.
Firstly, the first thing or the first activity that one cannot be able to make if the cell phone it is locked, you cannot be able to make an outgoing call.
Kodwa ungayireceive i-call engenayo.
However, you can be able to receive an incoming call.
And then angeke ukwazi ukutype i-message ephumayo.
And you cannot be able to type and send a message that is going to a second person.
No message ongenayo uyokhona ukubona ukuthi ungenile kodwa nakufanele ufunde in details angeke ufunde uma ngabe ungavulanga ipattern.
And also with a message, no SMS that is reflecting on the cell phone, you can see its notification. However, you cannot be able to read through the message without opening the pattern of the cell phone.
And then angeke ukwazi ukwenza njenge police call ifone mangabe ne pattern ngoba izobe ivaliwe.
And also you cannot be able to make a please call me if the cell phone has a pattern and if the cell phone it is locked.
Thank you. Are you able to access an application such as WhatsApp when your phone is locked?
Manje bafuna ukwazi ukuthi ngabe ungakhona ukuvula uWhatsApp womuntu mangabe ifoni eyilokhiwe.
Cha, ngeke ukwazi.
No, you cannot be able to do that.
I want to refer you to evidence before this court. This page on your bundle of evidence, my lord. This is an extract from Exhibit DD, paragraph 2, DD2, cell phone records of accused number 2, my lord. It was admitted before this court. The highlighted portions. That's correct.
Athi lawa highlight khona ukuthi ukuthi sibheke lapho ke mayana nodaba locingo la kaMsola wesibili ke lapho ke.
Just it's that page is comprises of please call me.
But in the case ligcwele ke ama please call me.
Yebo ngiyayibona.
Yes, I do see that.
Can you just place on record the first highlighted portion, just that one, the date and time?
Bacela usitshele ngalena yokuqala ilanga lakhona ke futhi nesikhathi esibhaliwe lapho ke.
Okay, ithi i-date bekumhla ka-02.
No. 1, 2, 3, my apologies. 1, 2, 3 highlighted portion. Yes. 0906.
athi lapho ku 0906
Okay. It is start date iti umhlaka 9 06 2020 iskhathi u09:43 51 minutes. Then inumber iti 072 it's 072 ngathi u038 6002.
And then just lastly, the CTT description.
CTT is it PCM basically U02.
Thank you.
Then
Thank you.
kade afunda ke lapho ke mana nodaba lo kade bebuza ngalo ke wathi ilanga lapho ke no the date it's 09 of the 6th month of 2020, then the time would be 09:43 51 seconds. Then the other party, there's a cell phone number there which is 072 038 6002. And then on the CTT description it will be PCM then dash U02.
Okay, thank you. And then just one last entry here. 4 August 2020 at 10:37.
Wathi ngelanga la nge4 zaka August unyaka 2020 24 August 2020 the time
12:42.
isikhathi 12:42.
okay
Sicela sifundele lapho ke.
okay i-date iti 24/08/2020 isikhathi u12:42 2 seconds. Inumber iti 067 33 03332. Then CCT description iti PCM dash U02.
Then the date would be the 24th, then the month would be 08, and then of 2020, then the time would be 12:42 minutes and 02 seconds. Then the cell phone number, it reads as follows: 067 33 03 332. Then under CCT description, it will be PCM dash U02.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, the one that comes right after the one you just placed on record, just to place this evidence in the proper context.
Bacotha ufunde landelayo la ngenzansi kwale qoqodo ifunda ke mnumzana.
I-date kusese umhlaka 24/08/2020 isikhathi u13:04 40 seconds. Inumber it is 072 619 1698. Then ECT description it PCM U02.
Then the date would be 24/08/2020. Then the time would be 1300 hours 04 minutes and 40 seconds. And then under the other party, the cell phone number would be 076 619 1698. Then under CTT description, it reads as follows: PCM dash 02 no dash U02.
Okay, now PCM, we've been told in this court that it means please call me.
But it's about ukuthi PCM then kantolo mele ukuthi please call me.
Does it then follow that the phone belonging to accused number 2 sent a please call me to the other number?
That's the court persistent. My Lord, I've let this thing slide with the aim of finding out where we are going. Unless I'm told as well that this witness is an expert on cell phone analysis, like your the Ms. Vitulangem that came to testify here, I'll submit that this evidence is irrelevant. The relevant people regarding this have testified, and I've said to this court, and I'll say it ad nauseam, we haven't disputed the records as they are. I've said we don't dispute those records. The evidence speaks for itself on the record. So I'm not sure where this line of questioning is going. I thought this witness came here to introduce the 16 photos, but pertaining to the evidence of the cell phone record that at this particular time, X number, please call me Y number. I don't think it's within the purview of this witness, my lord. That's the court places.
Yes, Dr. Sibanda.
The issue is, the defense said this particular device was not in possession of the accused, right? And what I'm trying to demonstrate to the court is that the person that has the pattern can unlock and can be able to perform those transactions the witness is trying to place on record.
As it pleases the court. My lord, unless this witness here, with the greatest of respect, has got a crystal glass, is a clairvoyant to see who had the phone at the time this PCM were made, then he can answer that question. Other than that, and I maintain, this witness cannot be asked these questions, this line of questions. The application, why we are here, my lord, is purely because of DD4B, the introduction of the additional photos, not to be asked about something that doesn't fall within his expertise and that he did not testify to previously, my lord. That's the court, please.
Sorry, Doctor, is the gentleman, Mr. Ndlovu,
Yes.
Warrant Officer Ndlovu, sorry. Is he trained in this type of evidence?
He can comment, my lord, yes, he did receive training.
Yeah,
on cell phone.
maybe show that we don't waste time. Show
My
that.
lord, I think we have made our point, we'll move on to other aspects.
Hello?
We have made our point, we'll move on.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Thank you. My apologies for that. Let's proceed. Now you said you downloaded the phone and then you also placed the said cell phone in a forensic bag, and then you also indicated that you banned a CD. Can you explain that concept of banning a CD?
Wathi manje wakhipha kongaphakathi ngaphakathi komakhalekhukhwini lokwakhipha ke ngemuva kwalokho ke wonke lomsebenzi wakho ke bese mqeda kwenza umsebenzi wakho wafaka ngaphakathi kwe-forensic bag, wafaka ngaphakathi lokho kufaka ngaphakathi kwe-CD. Ngabe busho ukuthini inkulumo yakho ke leyo?
Bengichaza ukuthi uma ngabe sengiqedile u-extracta le data engiyenzayo ngibese ngifaka ku-CD ukuze iphume ku-computer yami.
I meant to say, after I was done extracting the data that I had extracted from the cell phone, I then CD. I then placed it inside the CD.
Then ngifaka ku-exhibit bag as exhibit, then iyolinda.
I then placed it inside the exhibit bag as a CD.
Then bese ngiyayisila.
After doing so, I then sealed the bag.
Bese ngiyifaka safe, then ilinda investigating officer mangabe ezocollecta i-data yakhe.
I then took the exhibit bag and placed it inside a safe, so that to keep it safe inside the safe, so that it can wait for IO to come and fetch the bag.
Thank you. Now I would like to refer you to Exhibit 6, the actual downloads that you have done. Can you look on the screen?
Exhibit 6.
Can you identify what you see on the screen?
Yebo ngiyabona i-table of content, then in a summary, case data, device information, general information, files and pictures, files audios, files videos, file archives, file unrecognized, then XRY system logs.
Yes, I can see there is a table of content. bakhuluma lokubhaliwe-ke ngesikhathi kade ebuka lapho kade uqala ubhala ukuthi summary ithi inkulumo eniciphile ekade i-case data basathi data device / general information ulwazi ojwayelekile lapho-ke bathi ufile bese phakathi kwefile bese slash ukuthi iy'thombe ukuthi ama-pictures imenzansi lapho ama-files bathi slash ukuthi ama-audio-ke lapho ukuthi files / videos files / archives ukuthi bathi files / unrecognized bese kune-XRY16 and then block.
So is this now the information that you downloaded from the SD card?
So ngabe ulwazi owalithola ngaphakathi kwe-SD card lolu?
Kunjalo.
That is correct.
Can you confirm it's still the same information?
Ngabe ungakhona ukusiqinisa ukuthi ngabe saseulwazi olufanayo lolu alitholile lapha?
Yebo alikashiya.
Yes, nothing has changed.
Can you also confirm that you stored the information in this format?
Bathi ungakuvuma ukuthi wagcina konke okade ukutholile ngapha ulwazi olutholile ngale ndlela ebhalwe ngayo lapha.
Kunjalo.
That is so.
Can you also confirm that the information starts from page 1 to page 54471?
Bathi avuma ukuthi ke lo lwazi olutholile iqala kwikhasi lokuqala-ke kuze lufike lapho-ke kwikhasi les-5471.
Kunjalo.
That is correct.
Now, let's now refer to Exhibit DD4A.
Tathi lobuka lapha ngaphansi kwemibukiso ka DD4A.
My lord, in your bundle of evidence, it's marked, it's page 1, it's a photograph.
Page 1.
Yes.
This one.
No, we can page through, my lord.
Okay. I page through.
Yes.
And then it's DD4.
Yes, A.
A.
Capital A, yes.
Yeah. Is it A to B?
Oh, mine was incorrectly marked. My apologies, my lord, it's B.
Okay. Okay.
To also okay. The first photo is on the screen.
Wathi kunethombe ke sikhona lesikhangiso-ke.
Can you confirm that it's one of the photos that are in your downloads?
Ngabe ungakuvuma ukuthi isithombe leso sikhona ngalana kulesikhangiso isona sithombe asithola ngesikhathi udownloada le.
Yebo ngiyavuma ukuthi lesithombe siyafana nesinoma lesi esila sibheke phezulu bese lesi sinqomeka phela.
Yes, I can agree that this picture looks more the same with that picture. The only difference, this picture, it is faced up, and then that picture is faced on the side. Way.
Thank you.
And then
can you also please on record the page number where we'll find this photo on?
My apologies, doctor. I think the stenographer wants to say something.
Can you then place on the record the page number as per your downloads where we can find this photo?
Bacela usitshele mayelana nekhasi-ke la kuma nodabula ama-download la singathola khona isithombe lesi ukuthi ikhasi liphi-ke lelo.
lesi isithombe engisiphethe la kimi sithi siwu-page number 954.
The photo that it is before me, it states, no, it reads as follows, page 954.
Whilst we're on this photo, I want us to now, okay, you want to say something?
La angimboni lo page 954.
The witness says,
Okay, nangiya SID.
Ithini lapha?
Nangiya u594 ngifuna ukubona page number lo. Shona
Yes,
on
I
the
can
side.
see the page number, therefore he says the page number it is stipulated on the side.
So it is still on the same page.
Ngapha kwecastle lot.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now I want to then refer you to the proceedings of the 8th of August 2023.
Athi ufisa ukuthi sikhulume ngokushicilela ngaphambi kwenkantolo ngelanga la nge-8 zaka-August ngonyaka 2023.
On page 13,
Lapho Castle 13.
these documents. And then I will read what the document says.
Athi ufunda ukuthi document lithini la kulona noma
Okay.
babhale ini ngaphakathi kulona.
Okay, in fact you can read the highlighted portion.
Athi kahle kahle ukuthi umfundele la bhalwe khona ke bese ba highlighter khona.
Okay, page 13. And then in the highlighted it read as follows. Now accused 2 instructs me that he has never had this beard here. In fact, he does not grow on him, and he has never had an O-shaped beard like you say the second suspect had, and furthermore that he has always kept the goatee, and then the one that you see here in court from as long as he can remember.
Kade afuna ukufakaza mayelana nenkulumo eshicilelwe la ngaphambi kwenkantolo ke-express ngelanga la nge-13 zaka-August ngonyaka 2023 la wathi khona-ke manje umsola wesibili athi ungitshela lokho okulandelayo ukuthi nakakaze-ke futhi abe nayo-ke intshebe futhi akahle intshebe ayikaze yakhula-ke kuyena-ke futhi nakakaze abe nentshebe losho ukuthi ehamba njengo-ola kuyena-ke futhi njengobona kusho lapho-ke noma uthi lo muntu wesibili kade yanentshebe enjalo-ke lapho-ke futhi unje ukuthi nakakaze futhi abe nayo-ke le-goatee la kuyena-ke futhi nanoma khona nanoma futhi umbone la ngaphambi kwenkantolo-ke futhi noma futhi angakhonda akhumbule ukuthi akakaze nje abe nayo.
Thank you. Can you also place on record who said that?
Ecela ukuthi ubhale usho futhi ubani ukhulume le nkulumo leyo-ke.
Kubhalwe la now accused number 2,
Before that,
bathi phambi kwalokho babhale ini
Mr. Ramusipili.
Mr. Ramusipili
Now
no, it's fine.
athi akulungile.
Now, what is your comment regarding the photo that I've just shown you, as well as what was put to the witness regarding the O-shaped beard?
Athi ke manje mayelana nodaba lwenkulumo eqeda uyifuna njengamanje futhi nodaba lwesithombe lesi kade besifezile lesikhangiso lesi uma uqhathanisa phakathi kwenkulumo lekhona ngapha futhi nalokho okubona nje sithombe yini ongathana ukuthi utshele ngosenkantolo?
Maybe the state needs to clarify the functionality that this witness has come to give here. Now the state is now trying to siphon, what do you call it now, a personal opinion from this witness. We don't know if this witness is qualified to give a comment on what the state is requesting him to comment
I
on.
thought he's asking him about what is. I'm sorry, Doctor. Are you asking him about the picture?
Yes,
It's not your personal opinion.
it's an observation.
You're pointing to a picture and you say he must tell you this. Okay.
My Lord, this is an unfair question, and I'll state the reason why. The witness is shown a picture, which is fair, I don't have a problem with that, and asked, can you comment as to the beard type that is portrayed of the person that is on that photograph? Yet the state fails to do one of the fundamental things when you cross a witness of the caliber of Warrant Officer Ndlovu. There's a photograph that was displayed. That photograph has got properties. The properties will, amongst others, show you when this picture was taken. As the court pleases, madam.
We are getting to that, and then we are getting to that.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear you.
And in the operative word, there is never.
Here.
Never. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Do you have a comment?
Kanti khona lo ongafisa ukuthi ukhulume mnumzana?
Just repeat that question again, because Mr. Ramosipi interposed.
My question was, it was put to this witness that accused in underlying the word never kept an O-shaped beard. So what is your comment in relation to what you see on the screen?
Bathi uzulumbuso. Okay.
Okay, engingakusho mina kwinkosi yenkantolo ukuthi noma athi akaze abe nazo kodwa ubuka kule sithombe ngoba uma ngichaza le O shape umuntu mambuka izindevu lezi ziqala la uzibone la emasayidini then zizela. So
My lord, kancane baba, kancane futhi. The witness, as he was explaining towards about pertaining to his observations from what he see on the picture, comparing it to the statement that was placed on the witness that the accused number 2 has never had an O-shaped beard. He has made use of his point fingers to make an example on his facial by going around from the mustache to the side of the lips up to the lower part of the chin. Khuluma futhi?
okuwukuthi la mangibuka lo muntu ola esithombeni kukhomba ukuthi ngalesikhathi ethatha lesithombe wayenawo lo round shape wezindevu.
And then the witness further says that as he is observing from the picture that is depicted, he says during the time this person took this picture of himself, he had the beard that is more of an O shape.
Thank you. And then you now rightly so spoke about a time when this photo was taken. Are you able to tell from your set of data when was the photo taken?
Wathi ufuna ukukhuluma ngesikhathi ke manje ungakhona ukukhuluma yini ukuthi isikhathi abathatha ngaso sithombe leso isikhathi
uyakhona ukubona ngawe uya ku details ye photo njengoba ubona lapha.
You are only able to see that if you peruse through the details under the picture, just like as you see from the screen.
Are you able to see? Because I'm trying to rotate the picture so that you can stand just like that. Are you able to tell from where you are? You can move to the screen and then you come back and place the information on record.
Now look at pen baba. Ngasikhomba isikhathi manje sibona lapha ngelanga.
Kune date la at 2020-06-10 isikhathi 11:19:59 minutes. And uma ngathi ubuya phezulu kancane.
My lord,
It says created. That's the date isithombe esithathwe ngayo this.
then the witness, my lord, he has just read from the point where it reads as follows: created. Then the date would be.
No. If you want to create it, then it's the same date.
And the date would be 2020/06/10. Then the time would be 1100 hours, dash 19 minutes and 59 seconds.
Just for the record, just repeat the same information so that the stenographer is able to capture.
Ngicela ukuthi futhi usivele ke mayelana nolwazi olubhaliwe lapho ke umnyaka nesikhathi sesithombe.
Isithombe sikhonje usathathwa ngomnyaka 2020-06-10 isikhathi kwaku 11:19 minutes 59 seconds.
Then the year would read as follows: 2020/06/10. Then the time would read as follows: 1100 hours, and then dash 19 minutes and 59 seconds.
And then are you able to tell from that set of data what was used to take that photo?
Ngabe yakhona kusitshela mayelana ne-data ukuthi basebenzisa yiphi ke indlela ekhathini isithombe lesi. Ungayiduze naso baba.
Just check if this mic cannot move there. This one, yes.
isithombe kusasathiwa ngalo ubona la masithi then sithi DCI camera okusho ukuthi iyathathwa ngawo umakhalekhukhwini lo isithombe lesi.
And then you are able to tell under the path that there is DCIM then slash camera. So therefore this means that this picture was taken with the said cell phone.
Then la phezulu uma ungabheka iyasho.
And then at the top, if you can read noise, if you could look at the top bottom of the text, it also stipulates that.
Then it will say now it equip model iyasho equip maker Samsung phone yayithatha. Then
Under
model
the-
the SMJ5.
Under metadata, it reads as follows. The witness here said that this picture was taken by equip maker, which is a Samsung, and then the equip model, which is SMJ5.
Thank you. And then that Samsung J5, is it the same J5 that you received from Sergeant Mohane for downloading?
Bathi manje le Samsung J5 ngabe iyona ke oyithola ku Sergeant Mohane ithi download konke kade khona ngaphakathi kuyona.
Kunjalo.
That is correct.
Thank you. Now let's move to the second picture. It's on page 2, my lord.
Isithombe sesibili ke lapho ke sikhasi lesibili.
What is your comment in that with regard to that photo?
Bathi yini ongathanda ukuthi uyikhulumeke noma ungayisho manje nesithombe lesi mnumzana? Ngomhlonishwa.
Akukho engakusho phandle ukuthi ngibona umuntu ogqoke isigqoko esimnyama iskipa esiyelo. Then the page number ithi 2358.
There's nothing further that I can say other than that what I'm observing from this picture. I see a person who is wearing a black hat with a yellowish t-shirt, then also a page number which reads as follows 2358.
And then with regard to what Mr. Tumelo Madlala say regarding the O-shaped beard, what is your observation?
Bathi mana nodabula kunya kumnumzana Tumelo Madlala ke mana nomuntu othi unendevu o-shape yini ongathanda ukuthi uyikhulumeke lapho ke?
That question is incorrect. Ask the witness himself what he perceives and sees there.
What is your observation?
And then you can submit data about Tumelo Madlala.
What is your observation there?
Bathi yini uyibona ke lapho mnumzana?
Engikubonayo umuntu ogqoke isigqoko esimnyama unayo intshebe ehamba sort of O shape ogqoke iskipa esiyelo.
What I see on the picture is a person who is wearing a black hat with a yellowish t-shirt and an O-shaped beard.
And then do you know when the photo was taken?
Ngabe unalwazi ukuthi uthumele sibathatha nini ke? May you please scroll up a bit?
Okay, engikubonayo nalesi sithombe sathathwa ngale phone Samsung J5.
What I can see is the picture was taken with a cell phone Samsung J5.
And then this card, okay, it's common that it was deleted, the photo line.
Then this picture, it also stipulates that this picture was deleted. My apologies, my lord.
And then we date anyone out 2020 0604 is cut to 14/17/29 seconds.
And then the time it reads as follows 2020/06/04. And then the time would be 1400 hours, 17 minutes and 29 seconds.
Yilokho engikubona.
That is all that I can see.
Thank you. Was it still taken with the same Samsung J5 that you received from Sergeant Mohan?
Manje umbuzo ukuthi ngabe isithombe lesi basatha ngale Samsung J5 owayithola kuSergeant Mokhane?
Kunjalo ikhomba kanjalo.
Yes, that is so. It reads as it is.
Okay. Can this XRY, is it XRY program that you use, can it also retrieve photos that were deleted?
Wathi manje le system enisebenzayo sithi XRY ingabe iyakhona ukuthi iphinde ibuyise futhi izithombe ezicishiwe noma izithombe ezadelethwa?
Kunjalo njengoba ikhomba lapho isithombe sasideletiwe.
It is so same as it states on the picture, and it states that this said picture was deleted.
Thank you. Now let's move to page number 3 of exhibit DD4B.
Athi manje xa sesithombe sesithathu ke lapho sofakazi baka DD4B.
What is your observation?
Bathi yini uyibonayo ke lapho?
La ngibona umuntu ongabonakali kahle kodwa ogqoke ngathi kuyi tracksuit emnyama ngaphansi bese babomvu ngaphezulu bese ugqoke nalesigqoko se tracksuit.
Here I see a person that is, and the face of the person it is not as clear, and the person is wearing a tracksuit that has a hood on it, and then it's on the top of the tracksuit it is red in color, and then at the lower bottom of the tracksuit it is black in color.
And then page number OT2378.
Then the page number it is 2378.
Thank you. And then on your set of data, there on the screen, can you confirm that it's among the photos that you downloaded?
Kunjalo.
That is so.
And then let's just do the same exercise. When was it taken? With what? And then what is the status of that photo during the downloading?
May you please scroll up a bit again?
Isithombe sikhomba ukuthi sathathwa ngayo Samsung J5.
Then this picture was taken by a cell phone, which is Samsung J5.
And then sikhomba naso ukuthi sadelethwa.
And then it also states that this picture was deleted.
And then i-date nesikhathi esathathwa ngayo nala uyakhona ukusibona sithi 2020 i-date enyangeni yesi-11 ngomhla ka-12 isikhathi kwaku-17:38 1 second.
And then the time in which this picture was taken, it was during the year 2020, and then on the 11th month, and then on the 12th, and then the time would be 1700 hours 38 minutes and 1 second.
Thank you. You also described the type of clothing that the person depicted on page 3 is wearing. Can you just go in detail with regard to that?
Ngibona umuntu ogqoke i-tracksuit imnyama bese ukusuka la esifubeni ukuya phezulu ibomvu.
I see a person who's wearing a tracksuit. Underneath, from the chest going to the lower body part of the person, it is black in color. And then from the chest going to the upper part of the body, it is red in color.
Bese ugqoke isigqoko.
And then he's wearing a hat.
Bese ebusweni akabonakali kahle.
And then his face, it is not clear enough.
Thank you. Now let's move to page 4 of exhibit DD4B.
Okay,
I think page 2379, it's a more clearer picture.
Atlapo is ikhasi lapho ke noma ikhasi elibhaliwe lapho ke page number 2379 athi yona ejangala kahle ngendlela iqondile.
Kunjani?
That is so.
Are you, then you can just look at the screen once more.
Ubuke lapho kulesikhangiso futhi.
What is your observation?
Bathi yini ibona ngalana?
Nala ngibona umuntu ogqoke i-tracksuit efana kule sithombe esidlule kuso imnyama kufika la esifubeni then ibomvu ukuya phezulu. And
Even
then
on the screen, I see a person who is wearing a tracksuit that has two colors. From the chest going to the waist of the person, it is black in color. Then from the chest to the upper part of the body, it is red in color. And he's wearing a hat.
I need this.
okunye ngibona ubuso bakhe buyabonakala umuntu okhanyayo and then
And also I can see his face, he is more light in complexion.
and then okunye unayo intshelenyana encane ehamba cishe round kanti.
And also he has a beard that is shaped in an O shape.
Yilokho engikubonayo.
That's all that I can see.
I will need clarification here. You're saying it's a tracksuit with a head. Can you just explain exactly? Is this a head now attached to the tracksuit? What is the position there?
Awusitshele ngokugcweleke mnumzana wathi ukhuluma ukuthi umuntu lo ogqoke i-tracksuit yakhe nayo futhi nemibala emibili yahlukile futhi ugqoke isigqoko-ke manje isigqoko lesi asigqokile ngabe isigqoko esihlangene nale-tracksuit ayigqokile noma isigqoko singahlangene ne-tracksuit ayigqokile.
Kunjalo ugqoke i-tracksuit enesigqoko kodwa usithwele isigqoko.
He's wearing a tracksuit that it has a hat, that the hat is attached to the tracksuit, and he's wearing the hat of the tracksuit.
In this court, we were told that type of clothing is called a hoodie. Is that what you are referring to?
Question. The description should come from the witness.
But it's now evidence before this court, my lord, that is a hoodie. But I will not argue the point, my lord. Thank you.
But you have not fully described that tracksuit.
That's what I'm trying to get into for him to
Okay, fine.
Proper
fine.
description.
All right, fine.
And then the details on that photograph.
Bathi imininingwane ebhaliwe ngaphansi kwesithombe lesi-ke. Please scroll up.
Okay. His card.
Remember what we're doing over now. Okay, the time.
I-date ithi 2020-11-12.
The date it reads as follows: 2020/11 month, and then the date will be the 12th.
Then isikhathi sithi 17:38 1 second.
Then the time it reads as follows: 1700 hours 38 minutes and 01 second.
Then sisakhomba ukuthi sithathwe i-Samsung J5.
And then the picture was taken with the Samsung J5.
And
I did not get the date for the date. When was that picture taken?
Sicela ummeli athi akathulile ke ilanga leli ukuthi isithombe sihlanganiphile ilanga. Ilanga leli ukuthi isithombe ngaso bamnumzana.
Ngibona lesikhathi esithi original time kodwa la angisiboni.
The witness is saying that he has read from where there is where it states original time.
Okay.
However, he does not see the date below the picture.
When was it taken?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, my lord.
do you know what this type of clothing that is depicted on that photo is famously known as?
bathi ngabe unalo yini ulwazi lengubo egqoke lo muntu okhona lesithombe ukuthi bayibiza ukuthi bayibiza ngani igama lengubo egqoke lo muntu ngapha lokho agqokile kuyena
Tracksuit, jersey, elinesigqoko.
it's a tracksuit, more of a jersey that has a hat on it.
What is it commonly called?
Ngaba chocho bayibiza ngegama liphi ke? Angicayi ukhuluma nanci ukhuluma nommeli
The
kosenkantolo.
witness is obvious, he doesn't know.
I don't know, it's tracksuit.
As a court, please.
Yeah, it's like fashion.
Court,
See,
please.
I'm wearing. Never mind.
As a court, please.
Mr. Joe, is it? Warrant officer. Just show him that picture again. You haven't fully described that tracksuit. It has got sleeves, and the sleeve has got a two-toned. Two-toned colors. One color at the top, one color at the bottom. Please just describe what you see. If you don't see that, fine, no problem.
Nomzana Ndlovu inkosi enkantolo ethi ozana kuba. Iyacela ngomgcwele mayana nempahla phecelezi lezigqoko lokuthi impahla zinike lezi ngoba ingubo ayibesithi yinike lena ngoba bese enkantolo esho ukuthi ibona ke imibala emibili ke khona kana ke impahla uma ngubheke le mpahla yini ibonakala ngoba
Njengoba ngichazile kwasekuqaleni.
Yebo.
Ingubo le ayigqokile i-short of tracksuit.
Yeah.
La ngaphansi imnyama.
Right.
Ukusuka la isukela ukuya phezulu ibomvu.
Right.
And then inesigqoko esihlangene nayo esibomvu ngaphakathi simnyama.
Right.
Uyakhona ukusibona. Bese
mana unabantu abafundile phela nabo ingakhulu wedwa ngicela nomzana about the pictures he has made mention that it is a tracksuit and then from the chest going downwards, not to the waist of the person that is wearing the tracksuit, it is black in color. Then from the chest to the upper part, to the shoulders, it is red in color. And then there's a hat that is attached to the tracksuit. It is red in color on the outside of the tracksuit. And then inside the tracksuit, he has said that it is black in color.
bese la emkhonweni.
Yeah.
Imkhono ibomvu. Kodwa la egcineni bese iba mnyama futhi.
The sleeves, on the sleeves,
Yes.
it is into colors. It is red and then on the bottom it is black in color.
Yeah, that's what I see also.
Yabo manje ngosenkantolo futhi yasho ukuthi lapho ekubonile.
Thank you. Now let's move to Exhibit DD4A.
Sasa hapo exhibit DD4A.
On my left is the picture that you just gave a full description of, and on my right is Exhibit BB before this court. Identikit.
Athi ke lapho ke uma yena ebhekile lapha esandleni sakhe sobunqele ile sithombe bositshela ngaso la ngaphambi kumbi ngosenkantolo. Kepha manje isandleni sokudla athi isithombe ke esikhethekile abethi exhibit kit.
Now, what are your observation regarding Exhibit DD4A?
Bathi manje yini ke uyibonayo mana nofakazi okhona la ngaphakathi ko exhibit DD4A?
My lord, just for ease of reference, I just put together in one page Exhibit DD4A B as well as Exhibit BB, just for this witness to comment. It's not like it's a new exhibit, my lord.
Kade asho khona ke umshoshisi la lapho kohlanganiseke izithombe ezimbili ke asukuthi ufakazi obusha lapho futhi izithombe lezi ade bekhuluma ngazo ke lezi ehlangene lana ke lesikhangiso.
Okay, engingakusho engikubonayo Nkosi yenkantolo. Kulesi sithombe umuntu ogqoke isigqoko yile sithombe esidlule kuzo. Nale tracksuit enesigqoko esibovu ebomvu kufika esifubeni ukufika la.
My lord, the witness is saying that what he can see from the picture in which he has just pointed out, he is saying that it is the picture that we just dealt with. And then you can see a person who's wearing a hat with a tracksuit that has a hat, and then it is reddish in color, and it also has got black color on it.
And bese kulesi sithombe lesi akukho okuningi engingakusho. Kulesi sithombe lesi akukho okuningi engingakusho phandle kokuthi nala lo muntu uyabonakala ukuthi ugqoke isigqoko asikhombi umbala.
From the picture that the witness has just pointed out again, that is on the left side from the direction in which I'm standing, left side. He says this picture is dark in color, and then you can see that this person is wearing a hat.
Okunye ngikhona ukubona kuvela inwele la.
Then what he says that he can see that from where the witness has just pointed out, he says he can see a hair.
Ukukhomba ngathi inwele ezinde so ngaba ma-dreads something like that.
And then he says that it looks as if it's a long hair, more of a dreadlock.
And then ngikhona ukubona indebe lezi o-shape la.
And then from where he has pointed out again, he says he can see a beard that is like an O shape.
Then nala kunentshebe labayibiza uswayini la. Uswayini nesiZulu.
My lord, for lack of a better word, the witness then for lack of a better word, my lord, the witness, he has just pointed out again a beard that is called swine in isiZulu.
Then engingakusho kulesi sithombe lezinwele asibonakala ngoba kumnyama la ngaphakathi.
The witness has just pointed out from the brighter picture again, where the person is wearing clothes that he has made mention of the colors. He says, pertaining to that picture, you cannot be able to see the hair of the person.
Then nale ntshebe engiyibona la angiyiboni.
And also the beard that he saw from his picture, that is more darker. He does not see it from the picture that is more bright in color. That is all that I can say.
I might have missed this. And then the O-shaped beard.
The witness is saying that the beard is still visible. The person can see the beard from both pictures.
Now let's move to page 5. Page 2382. Still the same page.
Yes.
Page 6. 2384.
Page 2384.
Then what are your observations?
Ngicabanga ukuthi kusese isithombe esifanayo nalesi esisibhekile.
I think it is still the same picture with the picture that we just went through.
Umehluko ukuthi usagqoke ingubo efanayo usasithwele isigqoko kodwa la umuntu uyabonakala ukuthi uyahleka.
The only difference is the person, he's still wearing the same type of clothing that he was wearing from the previous pictures. However, in this picture, this person is now smiling.
Because bese nangale inchebe le around nala isabonakala.
Kuphi baba? And also the old-shaped beard, it is still visible from the picture that is displayed on the screen.
And then the date in which the photo was taken, as well as the phone which was used.
Ilanga isithombe wasathenga ngalo futhi nomakhalekhukhwini owusebenzisa ngesikhathi sakhe isithombe lesike.
The cell phone is actually Samsung J5.
The cell phone still reads Samsung J5. May you please scroll up, Samsung? This picture was deleted, however the date it reads as follows.
2020, 11, 12, 17, 40, 7 seconds.
That was taken during the year 2020 on the 11th month on the 12th. And the time would be 1700 hours, 40 minutes and 07 seconds.
We are on page 7, my lord, of exhibit DD4.
This page 7.
B, rather, my apologies. It's on page 2526.
Kasi 2526.
What are your observations?
But in Webona Lapo Baba,
Ngibona umuntu la esithombeni
I see a person from this picture.
ogqoke ingubo ebukeka njenge tracksuit ebovu.
He is wearing the type of clothes that the person is wearing. It looks like a red tracksuit,
Enesigqoko
which has a hat.
kodwa umuntu olapha akasigqokanga isigqoko.
However, the person that is depicted on the picture, he is not wearing the hat.
And then i-tracksuit eneyintambo zokubopha la.
And then this set tracksuit, it has lace that one can make use to tie.
Just once more, let me clarify. Is this now head attached to what you call a tracksuit? Because if you say head, it might be interpreted differently.
But when isigqoko lesikhuluma ngaso ngabe isigqoko esikhona kule tracksuit lena noma isigqoko nje esingekho kule part kule tracksuit.
Yisigqoko sayo le tracksuit.
The head, it is attached to this tracksuit.
And then does your set of data also show the date in which this photo was taken?
Okay, data yakho ke ngabe iyasitshela ukuthi isithombe lesi sathathwa ngaliphi ilanga?
Sikhomba umhla 2019 0706 isikhathi 12 2 minutes 31 seconds.
And then the date reads as follows: 2019/07/06. Then the time it reads as follows: 12:02 and then 31 seconds.
Then sathathwa ngayo iSamsung J5.
This picture was taken with a Samsung J5.
Yilokho ngikubonayo.
That is all that I can see.
And then what are your further observations on the photo itself?
But ngabe yini ke enye futhi ubonayo mana lesikhangiso lesi? Lesithombe lesine khona lesithombe.
The photo now, not the data.
But isithombe ngabe yini enye khona ukuthi ubone ngaphakathi kwaso?
Ayibonakala umuntu ngathi ulele embhedeni. Nale entshebele around la akukho clear akubonakali kahle.
It is not clear enough. It looks like this person is laying, on top of a beard, and then even the O-shaped beard is not visible enough. That is all that I can see.
Right. Now page 8.
Classless 80 velapo.
It's page 2534.
Ikhasi enzansi u-2534.
What are your observations there?
Wathi ngabe yini ebonakala lapho?
La kubonakala umuntu ogqoke ingubo enemibala ikhomba kuyi tracksuit grey from la phezulu esigqokweni.
What I can observe from the picture, it is a person who is wearing a tracksuit that has other colors, no many colors. However, from the head of the tracksuit, it is gray in color.
Ukufika la emahlombe
Up to his shoulders.
bese la ngaphambili ibonakala enombhalo obhalwe ngokumhlophe
And
bese
then on front, at the front of the tracksuit, it is written in white color.
then inombala omnyama
It also has a black color,
nombala obomvu
red color,
umbala omhlophe
a white color,
nombala omnyama
and a black color.
bese phinde ibe nombala omhlophe futhi
And also it has a white color again.
bese ikhomba ngathi inombala omnyama okuyenzansi onemibhalo emhlophe.
And then it also shows that it has a black color. Then on the black color, it is written in white color, going downwards.
Then kuyabonakala esandleni ugqoke iwash
And then it is visible enough from the hand, there is a wristwatch. From the arm, there is a wristwatch
elinombala obomvu nongathi mnyama.
with a red and a black color, the watch.
Then ubambe emlonyeni
He's holding onto his mouth.
and then ubuso abonakali kahle
Then the face, it is not clear enough.
kodwa naye futhi ugqoke isigqoko
Then this person, he's wearing a hat.
le ehlangene nale tracksuit yakhe isigqoko se-tracksuit.
Then the hat, it is attached to the tracksuit that is wearing.
Yilokho engikubonayo.
That is all that I can observe.
Okay. On your on your bundle of evidence, can you just place on record on what's written? It's evidence that was given on the 21st of November 2023, page 5.
Lesihlanu lapho ngaphakathi kofazi ade beshicelwa ngaphambi mbikuni esenkantolo ngelanga
The
lenge
last page.
saka November. Ikhasi lokugcina.
Can you place on record the highlighted portion?
Bathi laba highlight khona ke
It's page 20, paragraph 21.
paragraph 21.
Okay, kufundeka kanje Miss Mohula. Yes, my lord. There were a couple of hoodie jackets inside the wardrobe. He also, my lord, requested to take one of the hoodies, my lord, which was gray in color, and my lord, if I am not mistaken, he was wearing a red hoodie jacket as well.
Athi ke lapho ke kwinkulumo yashicelwa la ngaphambi kwesenkantolo ngelanga la nge-21 zaka November ngomnyaka 2023 kade phuma khona ke umbamo Mohula ke athi yebo kwesenkantolo ke uma ngabe ngingasho kade khona ke ingubo zehood kade nazo ke lo mlisi othizeni ijacket ke lapho ke kade sikhona ngaphakathi kweward futhi wardrobe yakhe ke athi uma ngabe ingenzile ke iphoso iphutha wacela ukuthi yena kade atheke lapho ke ingubo zakhe noba ingubo enombala ogrey ke lapho ke bathi nkosenkantolo uma ngabe engenzile iphutha lapho kusho ukuthi yena ke wayegqokile futhi ihood enombala obomvu yena.
Okay, now page 22. Just
Classless 22.
this one, just pretend that one. The highlighted portion.
Athi lela akuphala nayo manje laba highlight khona ke acela ufunde laba highlight khona.
Okay. 20, Mr. Baloyi. Yes, and the grey one. Mr. Zungu, the grey one look exactly like that. Mr. Baloyi, yes, just describe it. Mr. Zungu, it is also a jacket, a jersey like jacket with a hoodie.
Exactly. These are the proceedings of the 7th of September 2023 on page 22.
Athi ke lapho ke ngikhuluma eyashicilelwa ke la ngaphansi konke ngento ngelanga la nge7 inyanga ka is 9 September ke lapho ke na 2023 shooting phakathi kwenkulumo yakhe khona phakathi kwababa umnumzana uBaloyi nomnumzana uZungu ukuthi yebo ushuthi igrey le ngubo yakhona ama le hoodie legqokile bathi umuntu yebo igrey ke phake ifana ngamashina lena ke athi acela usitshele ngendlela etshakala ngayo ke lapho ke athi ke uZungu mangabe ephendula lapho noma umnumzana uZungu mangabe sabe ephendula futhi ke athi nayo seyijacket noma ijezi etshakala nje ukuthi ihoodie.
Okay, let's proceed to page 23, the next page.
Classes 23 kade landelayo lelo ukuthi ufunda ke
Just on Zungu, Mr. Zungu, just there on top. I'm not sure if I've highlighted. Page 23.
la ku page 23 la kade aqeda highlight khona njengamanje ke ufundele umnumzana babhaleni.
Mr. Zungu, when I look at him, he then made me to notice as to why it is that he changed, because when he walked out, I saw that he had a black one.
Ngaphansi kwenkulumo ke khona ke lapho ke ake khona umnumzana uZungu ke ngelanga le7 ngenyanga kaSeptember ngonyaka 2023 ukuthi ngesikhathi ngesikhathi bekambukile waqapha ukuthi kade khona ke lokho aqaphile ukuthi kade khona kushintsho mayelana nodaba kade noma mayelana nento kade ayibona uqhamuka ngesikhathi kade ahamba ngaso ke noma ngesikhathi baphuma ngaso ke ehamba ngoba athi into ayibona ukuthi kade egqoke ijezi lapho ke yena ke elinombala omnyama.
Can you now place the time and the type of device that was used to take that picture?
Sokutshela ngesikhathi ke futhi nento abayisebenzisa ekuthubuleni isithombe lesi.
Nalapho safana kukhomba ku Samsung SMJ5.
It operates as follows. Still is the same Samsung SMJ5 model.
Then the date nesikhathi sifundeka kanje 2019 07/12.
Then the date it reads as follows 2019/07/12.
Then isikhathi 19:25 minutes 16 seconds.
Then the time it reads as follows 1900 hours 25 minutes and 16 seconds.
Thank you.
My Lord, on the point of relevance, all the pictures that this witness has testified about, my Lord, they were taken in 2020. This one was taken in 2019. We are talking about the date of incident which took place in 2014. My Lord, I submit.
Sorry. Is this what you're trying to prove, sir?
My Lord, what I'm trying to prove is what I said at the beginning, that the person that is depicted on those pictures never had an O-shaped beard. Never. Whether it was 2014, 2013, 2020.
Thank you, my Lord. Then if we are proving ever, I withdraw my objection. I thought we were on the relevant date, my Lord, of the incident.
Is that so?
My-
Okay.
If we're approving ever, then it's okay.
Never. My lord, it's 3:23. Can we then adjourn until tomorrow? We'll proceed with picture number 9 tomorrow.
Is the witness available to our? Are you available, sir?
Khona sasa mnumzane. I will be available, my lord.
What time?
Skathini baba.
No, if you're saying 11 or 12, whatever.
Inkosi.
Because you come from Middleburg, is it?
Yebo kodwa ngo-9 ngabe ngila.
Unazola.
Oh, I see.
The witness says that 9 o'clock will be here, my lord.
10 is fine, my lord.
They've booked you into the Sheraton, eh?
But we say no.
I know all the tricks.
Before you do so, we are
9 o'clock.